the Sunoco British 125 GP Championship of 2011. And Rob Guyver somehow snook himself onto pole position once again in front of arch rival Kyle Ryde. But the frightening thing about them two is that they're about 1.4 seconds faster than anybody else.
Yeah.
James, how do you explain that? That means number 77 Kyle Ryde and that man in black and white, Rob Laughing Guyver, have somehow got round this trap 1.2 seconds at least quicker than anybody else, and that includes Wayne Ryan, who's alongside them on the front row of the grid.
Yeah, it's difficult to see how they've done that, really. I mean, Guyver almost expect to be quickest when things go his way. He has a lot of problems, mechanical issues sometimes. He's been a little bit unlucky this year, but Guyver, for me, number 13 there, black and white bike, is the class act in his field. And he's a mature lad. He's been running up. Bit of an issue for somebody, I think. Bike stall, trying to get it going. You can start these 125s by bumping them. You can't really start any other bikes by doing that. But
oh, it started. That was very efficiently done by that gentleman. It may not have been the most gamely thing to watch, but very, very well done, sir. He's got restarted.
Yeah, so to answer your question, I don't know. That's a big gap that Ryde and Guyver are quicker than the rest of the field.
So and the rest of the field, of course, includes, heading up the second row, is local Lincolnshire boy from Lincoln, Lee Jackson, in only his second season of British Championship competition, on a track where his dad Gary and his uncle Lee both enjoyed success. Lee Jackson, a former race winner in, I think, yes, in the 2005 1000cc Superstock
1000, that's what he did, yes. Raced the Jackson clan, have raced 252 strokes over the years. They've raced Superstock 6, they've raced Superstock 1000, they've raced Superbike as well. So they've done plenty of racing.
These are the present standings in the Sunoco 125 GP class after two-thirds race championship distance, 8 out of 12 races. Rob Guyver leads it by just 16 points from Wayne Ryan, 27 points in front of Kyle Ryde. Luke Hedger 6 points further back is fourth, ahead of Lee Jackson, the aforementioned, in fifth. And then we've got Irving 6th, Davies 7th, Watson 8th, Jordan Weaving 9th, Harry Hartley in 10th. 11th place for Bradley Ray, ahead of Taron McKenzie. Philip Wakefield, Andrew Reid, now departed to a different racing platform in the 600cc Superstock, and then Tom Cairn ahead of Chrissy Rouse, English, Bay, Douglas and Nigel Percy in 20th place, or rather joint 19th. This is the grid for the Sunoco 125 GP British Championship at Cadwell Park. Rob Guyver, look at the times though, 35.22. Kyle Ryde, 0.025 seconds slower, and then 1.38 seconds slower is Wayne Ryan on the Racing Steps Foundation bike, completing the front row. Second row is little Lee Jackson, 1.5 seconds behind, just ahead by a whisker of Luke Hedger and Ryan Watson. Third row headed by Harry Hartley. Remember that the C indicate Academy Cup. They're the kids who were 16 and under. Tom Kahn and Bradley Ray. Fourth row, Philip Wakefield, Callan Cooper and Jordan Weaving. And it's a very full grid of about 41 riders, with Ross Walker right at the back on his own. And that, of course, I beg your pardon, 31 riders, because it's 3 times 10, and my maths letting me down once again. So we're ready to go, the final race of the day here at Cadwell Park, and they foot themselves away on these tiny little machines, and a great start for Wayne Ryan. He may have been 1.2 seconds off the pace during qualifying, but he's making sure he gets the start he needs to be able to have a go at those faster men who were in front of him on the grid.
Yeah, you can see that these bikes are a lot smaller, 125cc, single cylinder, very narrow, very light. There's already a lot more room for the same amount of people going for these first few turns in this race.
And Rob Guyver decides he's not going to waste any time. He drafts back. No, sorry, it's Kyle Ryde.
I'm going to say that's Kyle Ryde.
It's Kyle Ryde. It's Guyver's in third place. So Kyle Ryde's wasting no time at all, arrowing to the front.
I knew it wasn't Guyver, because Guyver's never slipstreamed or gone past anybody on a straight in this championship.
No, you're right.
Because he's of average weight. That's
foolish of me to even imagine he could, bless him. So at the front then, we've got Kyle Ryde very swiftly past Wayne Ryan, which is something that really, realistically, Rob Guyver needs to do as well, currently in third place.
And I don't think it'll be long before Guyver can find his way past Wayne Ryan.
But as you say, James, he hasn't got that extra speed down the straight. Fourth place currently headed by number 81, Ryan Watson, on the Colin Appleyard Macadam Racing Seal. Young man from Angus.
Oh, Luke Hedges, that's Luke Hedger. I think Luke Hedger's gone over the top, going up the mountain.
It is Hedger.
Yeah.
So Luke Hedger, thankfully, he seems to have been emerged unscathed. He's tried to restart the bike.
He's going.
Can he get it going?
He can get it going. The trouble is he's going the wrong way now. He's on grass.
No, it's not started. I don't think it had started, had it?
I don't know if he jumped back on it, so I thought he had, but...
No, I don't think so. Crossing the line then. Look at this. Rob Guyver is trying to close the gap desperately on Wayne Ryan in second. Ryan Watson fourth. Lee Jackson fifth, ahead of Tom Kahn, who's made a brilliant start. And then Bradley Ray in seventh, ahead of Callan Cooper, Philip Wakefield and Jordan Weaving.
Yeah, it's all right for Guyver going really quick. Oh, let's have a look. This is looking back at the look. I suspect it's already happened. Yes, it has. Yeah, he lost it just at the bottom of the mountain. You see the black mark from the rear tyre. It spun round and thrown him up the mountain. He's perfectly uninjured though.
Oh, and he'd be very upset with himself. Luke Hedger, who won the opening round at the Brands Hatch Indy Championship, remember, and currently lies in fourth place in the championship, just 6 points behind Kyle Ryde. So that's a huge disappointment.
Yeah, this is a problem now for Guyver, because Guyver not so much stuck behind not stuck behind Wayne Ryan, but he's just not getting at this man, Kyle Ryde, and he needs to do, because Ryde now is making a break for it.
And Kyle Ryde really looks to be taking off, doesn't he? The young man from Jacksdale in Nottinghamshire, just 13 years old. There's Wayne Ryan, number 98. There's Rob Guyver, number 13. And then the battle involving Ryan Watson and Lee Jackson. And Tom Kahn, 4th, 5th and 6th.
Yeah, Bradley Ray just on the back of that.
And as these little fellas squirt over the mountain top, and then these bikes must feel great to flick through the woodland section, James.
Absolutely, yeah. I've raced a 125 around here quite a lot, and these things do what you want them. They're not. It's not so much the weight; it is the weight that makes them easier to ride, or nicer to ride, easier to move around. But it's also the fact they've got about sort of 50 brake horsepower. And it's the power of the big bikes that also make them difficult. You're arriving at corners so much quicker. You've got to get rid of so much more speed. That unsettles them going into corners. These are in effect proper racing bikes, were designed ground up to go racing, and consequently they tend to accept kind of adjustment. You can feel the difference more, and I think it's a good class for these kids to learn on. Me.
Third lap of 12 then, and here comes Rob Guyver, just drifts his way inside Wayne Ryan. It's amazing, Rob Guyver. I mean, in all due respect to the man, he's only 25, and just he's just past a lad who's 10 years his junior.
Exactly, yeah. 25's young. I'd love to be 25
yes.
again, but he is one of the oldest ones in this class.
So Rob Guyver dives downhill now ahead of the Racing Steps Foundation bike of number 98, Wayne Ryan. Can he make it? Can he make it stick? Well, we've completed 2 laps, and the leader is Kyle Ryde. He's kind of made a break at the front because it's taken that long for number 13 Guyver to get through into second place, and the gap is going to be a big one for Guyver to try and make up.
Yeah, Guyver's got a mountain to climb now. He has got 9 laps in which to do something about the leader, Kyle Ryde. But if you look at the times, Kyle Ryde consistently quicker now. Guyver has got clear traction. We'll see what he can do when he hasn't got Wayne Ryan not blocking him, but certainly holding him up somewhat.
Rather unfortunately, the number 24 bike of the local boy from Bourne, Arnie Shelton, on the Shelton Racing Honda, he's been docked a 20-second penalty for failure to observe the correct start procedure.
That would be the lad who we saw pushing the bike off once the warm-up lap had started, I think.
Oh, what a great shit. That seems cruel when he's already been handicapped by...
Yeah, but really, you can't do with your dad running onto the track to help you start. You know what I mean? There has to be kind of safety procedures.
And here comes Wayne Ryan. He's able to draft past, or is he? How late on the brakes? Guyver late on the brakes, has the swoop across into park. We're 3 laps in, so we're 1/4 race distance.
Yeah, and what Guyver doesn't need is Wayne Ryan getting past on the straights and holding him up in the corners. That will scupper his chances of getting back on terms with Kyle Ryde. And to be honest, I don't think Guyver has the speed for whatever reason to get back on terms with Kyle Ryde. Kyle Ryde consistently lapping quicker. Even when Guyver had a clear run at it that last lap, Ride some 1.2 seconds quicker.
Kyle Ride at the front. I think that's absolutely right. But I think what Rob there, number 13, needs to be slightly thankful for, although he's got a long way to go and a lot of wrestling to do before we get to that point, is that kid, Wayne Ryan, is the nearest to him in the championship. It's really Ryan he needs to keep behind him, James.
Yeah.
Because Ryan's only 16 points. 16 points adrift of him in the championship at the moment. Kyle Ride's 27 points further back. So it's really that second place is the crucial one for him, I think.
Exactly, he can absorb the point lost to Kyle Ride a lot better than he can any points lost to Wayne Ryan.
Behind these three then, that's where Rob Guyver and Wayne Ryan, then popping into view, the Appleyard Macadam racing bike of Ryan Watson, and then Lee Jackson with Tom Kahn coming up alongside him, and just behind them is Bradley Ray, number 128. Number 14, Lee Jackson on the Team Jackson Racing Honda. Fending off number 17, Tom Kahn from Rossendale on the distinctive RCD Motorsport FPW racing bike. And then number 128, Bradley Ray from Lydd on the Fab Racing Honda. Fab, F-A-B.
FAB.
Behind them, Jordan Weaving, Philip Wakefield, Callan Cooper. And then we've got Westwood, Percy, Joe Irving has advanced into the points after a poor start. He's ahead of Catherine Green now in 14th.
Yeah, poor qualifying as well for Joe Irving. For some reason, I haven't spoken to him this weekend, the Huddersfield boy, but he was down there on row 8. So he was a long way back. A lot of work to do.
Pardon that, he probably made an absolutely cracking start then.
Yeah, no, it was a long way back. We're not used to seeing him that far back in row 8, Jack. I don't know what happened. I think possibly had problems. I don't know. I haven't spoken to him.
Ryan Watson. Number 14, right behind him there, Lee Jackson, and I think Wayne Ryan might have got back. Has clawed his way back into second place. So this is the battle that Rob Guyver's got to try and win, because Wayne Ryan is the closest rival he's got in the championship. He can't afford really to shed points to the 15-year-old from down Kent way.
And I'll tell you now, there's no chance that either of these two are going to get anywhere near Kyle Ride. He's now 7.5 seconds in front and consistently are setting a bit quicker each lap.
So these guys have got to sort out this second place between them. And the 15-year-old student from Lydd in Kent, Wayne Ryan, number 98, at the moment heads the way. Finished 13th last year in this championship, of course. His best placing was 4th place at Snetterton. And behind Guyver, it's Watson, Jackson, Kahn, Ray, Weaving, Wakefield and Callan Cooper rounding out that top 10.
Yeah, these things...
Of course, what number 13, the thing for Guyver is well, it's the same for anybody in this position, James. He's got to push on and push hard and keep the pressure on. But the one thing he really can't afford is a DNF by pitching it up the road as he did at Knock Hill.
It's a tightrope. Yeah, frustration at Knock Hill for Guyver. He was locked in a real battle with the Irish lad. I've forgotten his name.
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid, and they were having a real go at each other, and both got really frustrated, particularly Guyver, who went past, waved, and kind of lost his concentration. It's hard when you kind of let your emotions kind of get away with you in the middle of a race. You lose your concentration. Down he went. He said he was quite embarrassed about it, actually.
This is a bit of a
good little battle,
a gnarly little battle going on here with Raynham Essex's Rob Guyver on the SP125 Brookhouse Garage racing bike. The Ryan Saxelby machine of Kyle Ryder disappeared out of picture. Here's the battle. Racing Steps Foundation versus Brookhouse Garage.
Yeah, I was out cycling with the Ryan Saxelby. That's the guy who puts together the RS racing bike, like you say, of Kyle Ryder. It's quite interesting. These things, they're not that difficult to run in that single cylinder, only got one piston, one crank and all the rest of it, as opposed to the sort of multi-cylinder, most of the rest of the four-stroke, every sort of class in BSB now as mostly four-cylinder four-stroke. But these things do need almost constant maintenance. It's quite easy maintenance, but new piston and rings every meeting, new crank every couple of meetings. It's basically, you make that engine brand new virtually every time you go out on it.
It's a good job there's simple little things to work on then, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Now as they go through Chris Curve, these little bikes, they must be really on the pipe and pretty much on the stop quite a lot of the time round it, even a track like this, James.
Absolutely, and if you watch some of the lines round, not so much these corners that are complex, sort of compound corners where one leads into another, but if you watch them on a single corner, the lines from the apex are a lot wider because they get the throttle open early, because it takes longer for the power to come in and get the bike driving to a faster speed. So the lines are a lot wider coming out because they want to drag every little bit of speed they can from that corner. Where with a superbike with 220 horsepower, you can actually square it off a bit, lean the bike over it for the least amount of time, get the bike set up and get it driving again, and the speed will pick up really quickly. But with these, it's important to carry the speed from the corner onto the straight. Really, in a lot of ways, there's more technique to riding these things properly than there is for the big class. In a lot of ways, it's harder because you can't make any mistakes. You're punished for every missed gear, every wrong line, every slide with these bikes, a lot more than superbikes.
Back to the battle for second place. We were just watching Ryan Watson, Lee Jackson, Tom Kahn and Bradley Ray in their battle for fourth. This is the crucial battle for second place, with Wayne Ryan, the Kentish lad, having the advantage at the moment from the man from the other side of the Thames estuary, number 13, Rob Guyver. James is casting anxious glances out of the window here. It's got very dark, James. I'm just wondering, we don't want rain to fall on these lads.
No, I was just thinking, I don't think there's going to be any rain. That was my thought, actually.
Rob Guyver looking well, eagerly to try and find a window of opportunity. We're on the 8th lap of 12, so just approaching three-quarter distance for these two now. Kyle Ryde handsomely dominating this race at the moment by about just under 9 seconds. This the battle for second place. Wayne Ryan, the 15-year-old, comes across the top of the and just closes the door a bit, just in case the Essex man was thinking about a little outside sneak through into the woods.
Yeah, Guy there, number 13, is considerably quicker around this woodland section, pretty much all of it. He's right up the backside of Wayne Ryan, all the way through, looking frustrated, looking for a way past. Thing is, through that section, if you're behind somebody, it doesn't matter how much quicker you are, there's no real way past. It's a one-line sort of section, is that woodland section.
Ryan Guyver across the line, three-quarters of the race complete, 8 laps out of 12. Ryan Watson in 4th place, still leading Lee Jackson, Tom Kahn and Bradley Ray, and all the time edging in behind them, Jordan Weaving and Philip Wakefield closing the gap ever so fractionally. Meanwhile, look at that, this is where he could do with being able to stay close to, but Ryan escapes his clutches out in the countryside, James.
He does a little bit, yeah, when he can get that bike going, he's a little bit lighter, seems to have just a little bit more speed on the straight. Bit of a random shot there, Jack.
It was a rather nice one. That was number 46, Ross Walker from Lincoln on the Ross Walker Racing Honda, who'd started right from the back of the grid in splendid isolation, but I'm sure is enjoying racing at his local circuit. We're on the 9th lap out of 12. And I said this was already three-quarter distance. My maths have really failed me today. We're on the lap that will take us to three-quarter distance in this 125 GP race. And this is a very crucial one. James, I'll tell you one thing that's just suddenly occurred to me.
Yep.
Surely the tracks coming up could be described fairly much as horsepower tracks. They might not work necessarily to Guyver's advantage.
No, not so much Donington. He's having a go.
He's having to go into the hairpin. He's watched Tommy Hill and he has sat up Wayne Ryan and taken a leaf right out of Tommy's book.
Yeah, I couldn't understand where. I'll tell you what's happened there. He's pulled about a second or half a second straight away on Wayne Ryan.
And that was, well, he was just so, he got an absolutely perfect lunge here, James.
He did, and he set that up, and he has been quicker all the race than Ryan through that woodland section. I think what's happened, you know, if you look in front of him, there's a little back marker just over an interview, and I think that Guyver wants to get to that back marker first, which he did, but Ryan didn't get held up anyway.
It looked to me as if there was a touch of the Alistair Seeley's there, as if Wayne Ryan was just fumbling a bit with his gears, James, between the hairpin and the
I think it might have just knocked him off his stride a little bit. Yeah. The shock of Guyver coming through and maybe just got it in the wrong gear. Or
well, I mean, having built up to that immense effort, what can Rob Guyver hang on to it? This is Kyle Ryde. There's no problem for that kid. I tell you what, he is one of the most mature and imposing 13-year-olds you're ever liable to meet off his bike. He really is.
He's like a proper good rider, only smaller.
Yes. No, number 77 on the Ryan Saxelby's RS racing bike. Kyle Ride leads the way. This still the battle ensuing for second place. So vital to the ultimate outcome of a championship in which that man has suffered the ignominy of finishing second 2 seasons in a row, and very close seconds as well. We've got Watson, Jackson, Khan and Ray, with Jordan Weaving and Philip Wakefield and Callum Cooper still rounding out the top 10.
Number 98 there, the man in second place in this battle, Wayne Ryan, does look a little bit ragged now. I think that Garber's decided that he's going to get that second place. Here we go, this is the battle for fourth.
And these guys, the thing about these guys is that they've been running very close together, and gradually Jordan Weaving, number 27, has been closing in on them.
Yep.
But they haven't changed positions, James.
No, they haven't.
It illustrates how difficult it is to find a way through. You've got to really stick your neck out somewhere to do that.
Yeah, but be particularly good in a certain part of the track.
Yeah. On the penultimate lap then, with the Kyle Ride nursing? Tugging out an 11.2 second lead over the duelists for second place, Guyver and Ryan. And then Ryan Watson still clinging on. In fact, he's pulled clear as we see Tom Khan on the distinctive yellow and green bike pull alongside Lee Jackson and get inside him on the braking distance. But no, he can't outbrake little Lee. The whippersnapper, the tiny little Lee Jackson, is able to outbrake the taller, lankier Lancastrian as they go down to park. And these guys now diving steeply downhill towards, I tell you what, everybody is. So look at Jordan Weaving, number 27. He's clawed his way into contention for this from a long way back.
I'll tell you what I keep thinking, you know, these kids, a lot of these kids are going to be going back to school. You know, they're going to be going back to their comprehensive schools at the end of the summer holidays into the 5th year. And yeah, what did you do in the holidays? Oh yes, a bit of bike racing, mate. Hey, oh, that's Guyver.
Oh no!
That's Guyver out.
Guyver's chain's come off.
The chain's off.
I think it might have been coming over the top of the mountain.
That chain's off. That's definitely what it is. And it's off at the front. He's done. He can't. He's done.
That is the cruelest of moments for Rob Guyver. There, look, he looks down as he comes over the mountain. The chain's come off.
That's quite a common thing, you know, for the mountain. I've seen that happen quite a lot of times.
It happened to James Lodge last year.
I tell you what, it's come off the front sprocket. You could tell because it was that loose. It must have come off the front sprocket, which means you're not going to get it back on. If it stays on the front sprocket, you can feed it onto the back sprocket and get going again.
That's the cruelest of moments for Rob Guyver on the final lap. That really throws into jeopardy any chance he might have of the championship, because right now Kyle Ride will close right up to within 2 points of him with this race victory, and Wayne Ryan will catapult past him and take the lead by 4 points. It's going to be absolutely cut and thrust for the last 3 rounds between these three. Kyle Ride now right in with a chance of the championship on the Ryan Saxelby racing bike number 77. Well, live motorcycle sport, you never know what's just around the next bend.
And you did say it, he can't afford not to.
I did say that, yeah. Well, actually, James, what it has done, he's still absolutely in the mix. It's just a much tighter mix.
And the thing is with Guyver, he's got to allow for the fact that some circuits he ain't going to be able to win against these kids. There you go.
Kyle Ride, he won at Knockhill, he won at the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, he wins again here at Cadwell Park as a disconsolate Rob Guyver sits down disbelievingly on the grass. Wayne Ryan, he was a winner at Snetterton, twice second at Alton Park and Brands Hatch GP. He finishes second again to take the lead in the championship here at Cadwell Park. And we've had a faller, and I think that was Jordan Weaving. He worked so hard to get himself into contention. He lost it as he went into the hairpin, and that means Ryan Watson, Lee Jackson, Tom Khan, Bradley Ray crossed the line, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. And Jordan Weaving desperately tried to restart. Come on, mate, the colour of your leathers make it worth getting to the finishing line. Can he do it? Philip Wakefield crosses the line in 7th place.
Look at the seat.
Yes, the seat hanging off rather askew. He's going to hemorrhage a few places here. Callum Cooper finishes 8th. 9th place will go to Westwood. 10th Joe Irving. 11th Nigel Percy Hughes. Catherine Green.
He's going to get a point or two.
Shelton gets a point. 2 points for second. Oh, he does. Weaving cross at the line in 14th place. 2 points. Just a whisker ahead of number 80 Callum Bay. And Oh well, there you go. That was how it all turned out. Kyle Ride, number 77. We didn't see that much of him. He was riding immaculately at the front and eventually won by 14.4 seconds. We got Wayne Ryan second, Ryan Watson in third place, Lee Jackson in fourth, just ahead of Tom Kahn and Bradley Ray. But this is just going to close the championship right up. It's more or less a 3-round series starting from Donington Park. So, James, you reckoned that Donington Park isn't really a horsepower circuit. That requires some real skill.
It's not.
I was wondering about Silverstone with its big straights and open spaces.
Silverstone, you need a little bit of power. Donington, not so, because Donington's all about flowing and keeping your momentum and keeping your speed up all around that, from Redgate right down Craner Curves, the old hairpin, Schwanzer, Stackys Bridge. That's all about Ryder, that is.
OK, so you think that from the point of view of Rob Guyver, that could be a track that could, well, I say work in his favour, but at least give him a sporting chance against the youngsters.
That, yeah.
Kyle Ride wins it then. The Academy Cup as well goes the top 4. 14.4 seconds behind Wayne Ryan. Ryan Watson edges out Lee Jackson, Tom Kahn and Bradley Ray after a race-long dust-up, with Philip Wakefield inheriting 7th after Jordan Weaving's spectacular last lap fall. Callan Cooper 8th, 9th is Westwood, 10th Joe Irving. 11th place for Nigel Percy ahead of Bradley Hughes. Catherine Green, that young lady just keeps on rolling and keeps on mixing it with the lads. Jordan Weaving remounted to catch his breath and capture 2 points for 14th, just ahead of Callum Bay, with Elliot Lodge, Philp, Raybon, Douglas and Shelton, the unlucky Shelton, rounding out the top 20. The championship classification in the Sunoco 125 British Championship after 3/4 of the championship race distance. Look at that. 131 Wayne Ryan, 127 Rob Guyver, 125 Kyle Ride. It is neck and neck, nip and tuck for the title. Luke Hedger is 4th ahead of Lee Jackson, Ryan Watson, Joe Irving now 7th, Matthew Davies is 8th ahead of Jordan Weaving and Bradley Ray. 11th for Harry Hartley ahead of Philip Wakefield. Tom Kahn ahead now of Taron McKenzie. Andy Reid drops to 15th ahead of Chrissy Rouse. English, Bay, Percy and Callan Cooper creeps into the top 20. And yet another eventful race at Cadwell Park exploded into action, with Wayne Ryan getting a scorching start in front of Kyle Ride and Rob Guyver. They were the three who were surely going to be the fastest, and at the front Kyle Ride wasted no time in bulleting himself past Wayne Ryan into the lead partway through the first lap, and Wayne Ryan then went head to head with number 13 Rob Guyver. This was a duel that was going to last the length of the race. Guyver produced a brilliant Tommy Hill copycat move into the hairpin to snatch back second and looked like he may have that in the bag. Tom Kahn came very close to creeping past Lee Jackson into 4th place, but Jackson resisted. And then this terrible moment for number 13 Rob Guyver on the penultimate lap. His chain derails coming over the mountaintop, and the championship leader is out of the race, leaving Kyle Ride to win it, and more importantly perhaps Wayne Ryan to run second for the Racing Steps Foundation team and go top of the league in the championship. 3 of them now, including this man Kyle Ride. Any one of them could take the title.
And we are here with our 3rd place finisher Ryan Watson. Well, Ryan, what on earth were you thinking as you came round, I guess, the 2nd lap after Rob Guyver went out?
Yeah, I never saw him the first time, and then when I came round again I saw him sitting at the side, and I was happy because I was up another place on the podium for the main thing, and I just had to keep going because Lee Jackson was behind me, so I had to push hard.
How was the race from your point of view? Was it a good start? Were you happy with the way you got away?
It was an okay start, but yeah, and then just Lee Jackson was pushing me all the time, so it was funner as well.
Brilliant. We'll let you go to the podium. Very well done.
Alright, thank you. I'd like to thank Trick, my mechanic, and Colin Appleyard, and just everyone, Robin, and everyone that helped me this weekend.
Brilliant. Another disciple of Team Colin Appleyard Racing. We'll let you go to the podium. Off you go. 2nd place finisher Wayne Ryan. OK, what was going through your mind when you saw Guyver go out? Are you having a good, strong ride there?
Well, as soon as he come past me, I made a few mistakes, and I thought I was just going to have to settle for 3rd. But then come over the mountain and his chain come off, I think, so.
The race from your point of view, though, were you happy with it? Happy with your performance here at Cadwell? It's not an easy track on the 125s.
Well, last year it was terrible. I qualified 24th, and to come second, yeah, it's good. But the bike was a bit rich, but yeah, we got the championship lead now, so.
Brilliant, just what you wanted from this weekend. We'll let you go to the podium, well done.
I'd like to dedicate this podium to Ben Gautry.
Yeah, very nice sentiment. We'll let you go, as I'm sure everybody does here. Our race winner, Carl Ride. Well, Carl, a second win on the bounce. How do you feel?
I feel great. Cadwell, we've had a couple of problems suspension-wise, and this morning we've gone half a second faster than qualifying, so definitely found a good setup for Cadwell. So yeah, it was great.
And looking forward to the next round now. You must be quite confident with your pace going into that one.
Yeah, we've been testing at Donington and everything, so we've got that sorted out. So.
Okay, well, we'll let you go to the podium and get on with the celebration.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank all my sponsors, and I'd like to dedicate this win to Ben Gautry today.
Nicely done, off you go. There we go then, so the lads there, obviously, a lot of them want to dedicate that to Ben Gautry, and quite rightly so. They're heading up to the podium, and Jack will take us through it.
So the kids on the podium, well, that was a pretty cracking race for Kyle Ride. He took off pretty much into the distance. Wayne Ryan fought tooth and nail and looked to have lost the advantage over Rob Guyver until the luckless championship leader and twice championship runner-up ended up with that derailed chain on the second last lap. Ryan Watson in third place, the little Scotsman with the lovely light coloured voice. Will mount the first lad out onto the rostrum in third place for the Colin Appleyard Macadam racing team. Wayne Ryan for the Racing Steps Foundation will be is obviously pretty pleased at the fact he now leads that championship. He knew that quickly enough, didn't he? And everyone preparing to leave. It's going to take a while, of course, for everyone to get out of Cadwell Park, with over 50,000 people having turned up here. An amazing number of people have shown up at Cadwell Park, and it's been a pretty terrific day's action. The third place man then, Ryan Watson. Second place there for Wayne Ryan, and that vital championship lead. But he knows he's going to have to deal with this kid, the remarkable little ice-cool 13-year-old Kyle Ride, who takes victory here at Cadwell Park and moves within striking distance of the championship lead himself for the Ryan Saxelby team. A kid who started riding mini motos at the age of 6, so before moving on to 50cc Metra Kit road races at the age of 8 through until he was 10. So he's already had an absolutely absurd amount of experience in his 10 to 13 years, and you can see that by the very measured, clear-headed view he has of racing. Good to see Pat Walsh from Dunlop presenting the trophies to the boys, all of whom of course race on Dunlop rubber and Sunoco fuels. So a win for Kyle Ride in the Cadwell Park round of the Sunoco 125 GP British Championship, and that means that the championship looks really entertainingly balanced for everybody, I guess, except Rob Guyver, with Donington Park, Silverstone and Brands Hatch GP circuits to come.
Well, there we go. Obviously, quite subdued podium there, given recent events. Quick chance to remind you, though, that round 10 of the World Superbike Championship from the Nürburgring is on its way. Superpole is on Saturday at 11:15 on British Eurosport. So that's 11:15 in the evening. The races are underway Sunday, 10 to 11 in the morning. That's live on British Eurosport. And British Superbikes continues. Round 10 of the championship from Donington. Live action is Sunday, the 11th of September. That's on at 12:30 on British Eurosport 2. But that is it from Cadwell Park. It's obviously been a very difficult day, and our thoughts are with Ben Gautry's family and friends at this very difficult time.